His satellites shape wars. His tweets shape elections. There's barely a place on Earth that doesn't feel the gravitational pull of the broligarch, whose grand gestures are erasing the line between private enterprise and political power. But just how far does Elon's clout really stretch, and what conflicts of interest are emerging? Wired pulled the data and mapped out the key places that shape Elon's empire. Our first stop is Washington, D.C. Musk was the single largest individual political donor in the 2024 election, and now he has his very own office right next door to the White House. From here, he administers the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, whose goal is to slash $1 trillion in so-called government waste. With little transparency, Musk and team have fired thousands of federal employees and even locked out members of Congress from government offices.
He is someone who operates with a startup mentality. Move fast, rake things. He is bringing those same tactics into the infrastructure of the federal government, and that is what we are seeing play out in real time.
Musk is basically leading a restructured and rebranded U.S. digital service, the department responsible for streamlining data from across the federal government. So Musk and team now have access to sensitive data about government employees, and possibly proprietary data about U.S. companies that are government contractors, including his own competitors like GM, Ford, subcontractors for OpenAI, Boeing, and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. Plus, Musk is now weakening agencies that have sued or fined him in the past, such as the SEC, the FAA, and the National Labor Relations Board, which had 24 open investigations into Musk's companies as of 2025. Their investigations involve alleged surveillance of Twitter employees and interference with union organizing at Tesla.
At least 5 inspector generals that were looking into Elon Musk's companies were fired by the Trump-Musk administration.
Just a few blocks over here is where Doge first set up shop before Inauguration Day, in the offices of SpaceX's Global Government Affairs and Global Satellite Policy teams. Sources tell Wired that SpaceX engineers have been brought in as senior advisors inside the Federal Aviation Administration, the agency responsible for regulating commercial space launches. SpaceX has received upwards of $18 billion in federal contracts, mainly from NASA, the Defense Department, and its National Reconnaissance Office based in Chantilly, Virginia, which awarded SpaceX a $1.8 billion contract to develop a network of hundreds of spy satellites that aims to provide continuous real-time surveillance capabilities globally. In 2022, Musk played a crucial role in restoring Ukraine's communication infrastructure. This was done in partnership with USAID. However, his decisions to restrict military use in certain areas led to geopolitical controversy over the privatization of critical battlefield technology. In May of 2024, the Inspector General of USAID revealed that the agency was, quote, examining USAID's oversight of Starlink satellite terminals in Ukraine. Musk, who became publicly hostile to USAID, recently shut down the agency with the blessing of Donald Trump, sparking concerns over a conflict of interest. Although US sanctions prohibit Starlink operations in Russia, Ukrainian soldiers have claimed that Putin's military utilizes the service. So, how extensive is Elon's web of satellites? This constellation of dots represent thousands of satellites that were shot into space on SpaceX rockets on behalf of its subsidiary, Starlink. They're designed and manufactured in Redmond, Washington, to deliver satellite-based internet service to over 4 million global subscribers. Because Starlink satellites are in a low Earth orbit, the time it takes for data to travel between the satellite and the user is much lower compared to traditional geostationary satellites. So it has the potential to compete with traditional broadband internet services worldwide. Starlink launched its service in Nigeria in early 2023, and demand across Africa has surged. Interestingly, not in rural areas as anticipated, but in major cities. Maybe Starlink's reputation for sudden rate hikes, as high as 97% in Nigeria, contributed to the slower adoption in less developed regions of the continent. Musk's internet service has yet to get the green light in his native South Africa. One possible reason is that by law there, companies applying for communications licenses must be at least 30% owned by persons from historical disadvantaged groups, which includes Black people, women, youth, and people with disabilities. Apparently, Starlink does not meet those requirements. Recently, Musk has called the South African government racist because of a law he says unfairly targets white minority Afrikaners. Trump echoed Musk's position and cut aid to South Africa, most of which supports health programs, particularly for HIV/AIDS treatment. One place you definitely won't get Starlink is Taiwan. Why? Well, according to an article in the Wall Street Journal, Musk has been in contact with Russian President Vladimir Putin since late 2022, though the Kremlin denies this and Musk has not commented. Allegedly, Putin requested Musk refrain from launching Starlink service in Taiwan as a favor to China, whose military has been increasingly aggressive against its island neighbor. As of February 2025, Musk has not publicly addressed these allegations, and the Kremlin has dismissed the claims as absurd.
Elon Musk has strong business interests in China, has openly said he thinks Taiwan should just go to China.
Starlink's goal is to grow its constellation to 42,000 satellites, radically expanding its ability to beam the internet into more homes from space. But on the ground, Musk's influence doesn't stop at providing internet. It extends to controlling the conversation itself through social media. In 2022, Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion, took it private, and eventually rebranded it as X. It's now worth $15 billion. With a user base of hundreds of millions of active accounts worldwide, the social media platform's strong presence in countries like the US, Japan, Brazil, and India highlights its significant impact across diverse regions. But has it delivered on its promise of free speech? After acquiring Twitter, Musk fired most of the workforce, including much of the trust and safety staff, leading to a surge in hate speech and misinformation on the platform. Allegedly, at Musk's direction, X implemented code to boost his posts by a factor of 1,000 to ensure they outrank others in the feed. He has also been criticized for complying with demands from authoritarian governments to take down certain posts and for suspending journalists who were critical of him. Musk's vision is to transform X into an everything app that even offers payment and financial services. This would put X under scrutiny from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. As of the filming of this video, Doge is currently working to dismantle this agency, which is designed to protect consumers from financial abuse. Musk is no stranger to financial services. Here in Palo Alto, he founded another company called X.com in 1999, which ultimately became PayPal. He sold his stake in PayPal to the tune of $180 million after taxes. Historically, Musk's businesses have been deeply tied to California's tech and innovation hubs. Here in Mountain View is the former site of Zip2, which Elon and his brother Kimball founded in 1995 to provide online maps to newspapers. Compaq bought it 4 years later for $304 million. All the way down the coast in Hawthorne, California, we can see where the Boring Company dug its first hole in 2017. A test of the feasibility of high-speed underground transportation, the 1.14-mile-long test loop ran from here to here, under the parking lot of what was then the SpaceX headquarters at One Rocket Road. In this office, Elon Musk famously burned the midnight oil, often working 80 to 100 hours per week, setting the tone for what former employees described as a hardcore, high-pressure environment driven by relentless deadlines. Musk built quite the resume in the Golden State, but in 2020, in search of lower taxes, less regulation, and more space, he started the process of closing down the headquarters of just about all of his businesses and moving to Texas. He even sold 3 of his homes in Los Angeles. Right now, only a few major businesses remain headquartered in Silicon Valley in order to remain close to its specialized talent pool. Here in Fremont is the headquarters of Neuralink. Valued at $8 billion, the company hopes to treat neurological conditions and achieve human-AI symbiosis, but has only implanted 3 brain-computer interfaces so far in humans, while euthanizing an estimated 1,500 test animals since 2018. Also in Fremont, one of America's largest Tesla factories employs 20,000 workers that make sedans and SUVs. And xAI, in nearby Palo Alto, Musk's artificial intelligence startup, birthed the AI chatbot Grok. It was recently revealed that Grok was given instructions by xAI programmers to ignore all sources that mentioned that Elon Musk and Donald Trump spread misinformation. Down in LA, in Hawthorne, SpaceX keeps the lights on for the Falcon 9 rocket program, which launched in Santa Barbara County over here, which the company leases from the US military to send classified payloads for intelligence agencies into space. Typically, the reusable rocket lands somewhere over here. On the drone ship named Of Course I Still Love You, Elon's nod to a sentient spaceship in Ian Banks' sci-fi classic, The Player of Games. But these days, Musk's game is increasingly played in Texas. X relocated to Bastrop, 30 miles outside of Austin, and so did the Boring Company, right across the street. Not far away is the site of the Ad Astra School, Musk's private school which recently opened for enrollment to students aged 3 to 9. Tax filings reveal that Elon Musk's foundation contributed $100 million to support the school's launch. Musk had previously expressed support for abolishing the Department of Education. Also in Austin is the home base of the conservative America PAC. Musk was the primary donor to the PAC, providing 91% of the over $250 million raised. The Musk Foundation is also based in Austin. Despite its $9.5 billion in cumulative assets in 2021, 2022, and 2023, the Musk Foundation dispersed less than legally required in order to keep its tax-exempt status. The foundation has thus far saved Musk an estimated $2 billion plus in tax breaks. Neuralink is building new digs here in Del Valle, Texas, a suburb to the east of Austin. Outside of Corpus Christi in Robstown, Texas, Tesla built the first large-scale battery-grade lithium refinery in North America. In McGregor, Texas, about 20 miles southwest of Waco, is SpaceX's primary rocket engine testing and development facility. And all the way down here near the Mexican border is SpaceX, headquartered in Brownsville. This area is the hub for the development of the massive Starship project, featuring the largest rocket ever built, designed to carry humans and cargo to the moon. Starship's human landing system, designed specifically for NASA, will also ferry astronauts between lunar orbit and the moon's surface. And since we're up here, we may as well do a small detour over to Mars. Several uncrewed SpaceX Starships are slated to launch to Mars in 2026. Currently, launches are estimated at around $100 million per launch. Elon has also said it costs about $1 billion per ton to send cargo to Mars. Just outside the city limits of Austin is the Tesla corporate headquarters and Gigafactory, the primary production site for the Cybertruck and Model Y. The company's market cap has dipped to below $1 trillion recently, from $1.54 trillion, and its once 140,000 plus employees all over the world is down to 120,000. Tesla produces 1.77 million vehicles annually, but it only has the production capacity of 375,000 vehicles annually. 650,000 Teslas can be produced annually in the old Fremont plant here, but the vast majority are made in the Shanghai, China Tesla factory, which has the capacity to roll out 950,000 Model 3 and Model Ys for the global market of Europe and Asia. Another up to 375,000 can be built in Grünheide, near Berlin, Germany. Not far away in Prüm, there's a Tesla factory that specializes in advanced automation systems for manufacturing. Musk seems invested in German politics, publicly endorsing the far-right party there.
I think there's frankly too much of a focus on past guilt, and we need to move beyond that.
Tesla claims to have 60,000 global superchargers. In the US, there are nearly 30,000 ports. That accounts for 57% of all direct current fast charging ports in the US. Over here in Buffalo, this Tesla Gigafactory makes solar roof tiles for the energy generation and storage division. In 2023, the division generated approximately $6 billion in revenue. This Gigafactory way over here in Sparks, Nevada produces battery packs for 1.3 million Tesla vehicles per year. Another Musk company made its mark on Nevada. The Boring Company has been building a privately operated 68-mile tunnel system, 40 feet below the ground, designed to transport passengers at speeds up to 150 miles per hour using autonomous Teslas. The stretch goal is to eventually connect all the way to Los Angeles. However, as of January 2025, after several years in operation and several unresolved workplace safety violations, the Boring Company has only completed a few miles of tunnels. Here in Abilene, Texas, the first data center of Stargate AI initiative launched by OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle is being built. They seem to be in direct competition with xAI's Colossus supercomputer, which came online in September 2024 here in an industrial park in South Memphis, Tennessee. Powered by 200,000 GPUs, Musk has said he plans on increasing that amount significantly, which has some locals worried about the strain the site places on the Memphis power grid and the potential increase in carbon emissions from the energy-intensive operations. Critics also point to the lack of transparency regarding water usage for cooling systems and reports of operating without proper environmental permits. This wraps up our tour of Elon's empire. The sheer scale of it is a lot to digest, and the news cycle is moving quickly. More cuts are being made by Doge as of this video being released. Head to wire.com for immediate information as our coverage of the story is unfolding. Thanks for watching On the Grid.